Three softener vessels. They go based on demand of the system. So today was a cool day in March, so we're only wanting one vessel. So make sure when you do take your sample, obviously let it flush for a little while. Get what's in here out. And get a good relative sample for running your hardness test back inside the plant. I think it's also important to record which vessels online, especially for troubleshooting. If you're getting high hardness in the cooling towers, to be able to know. Let's go down, or actually we can do it. I'm going to do it on this one because I can stand.
So notice in this one it says online, and where's the monitor thing up there? I'll show you right there. Service. And you can tell which one's going to be called on if they do start to load. This one's offline, but it'll say, this one will say standby. See that right there? I can't fucking see what this thing is saying. See it right there? Standby, SBY. And then this one right here says standby 2?
Yep.
Oh, it says standby.
So yeah,
standby number 2.
Yeah, that's
and this one says standby number 1.
The bottom
should also.
The bottom should also be say offline. And it goes, that little red needle goes to service. Other troubleshooting things you guys should know about that happens is because these are outside, they're not in a cover, that these little, actually this one already is kind of not pulling in, but that little piston there locks up sometimes and doesn't allow it to go into backwash properly. So that's another thing to look out for troubleshooting wise. Also know that inside here there are pistons and seals that you can get bad seals, or if you over pressurize these, the seals will get out of alignment and then you'll get hardness bypassing by, either while it's in service or out of service, depending on which, gasket or seal inside that head goes bad. Each of them has an individual power supply, and then this is a flow meter for it. Also, if you don't see this counting down, then that means there's an issue with the flow meter itself or the wiring in between. Also too, that there's a little indicator light here. If that light goes red for some reason, that means that one of the three is not communicating with each other. So the first step is I'm going to show you guys how to do. Let me try to take this shiny plastic off so you can see on the camera, hopefully, how to do the programming. So you're going to take 2 fingers on the arrow up and arrow over, and you're going to hold it down. And now you're in programming mode. So the first thing that pops up on the screen is what language do you want. So we're going to go in English today. The system type, this is system type 14, demand recall, because it's on a based on the flow of the system. That's the type it is. The one in the plant is going to be, or for the boilers, is going to be alternating, I believe is the name of it. So then you hit the little regen button as well. So this is valve address number 2, and you have to name them individually. If you get 2 name the same thing, then it'll go red and it won't know what to do. It's kind of like an elevator lead lag type of system. It tells the regen type, hey, you're going to regen based off of a water meter intermediate. This is the valve head type. Is this control box can go on multiple different types. The regen flow, you're just telling it that the meter is downflow of the controller, and the reason it's downflow is because it could be, if the water meter's in front of it and it goes into backwash, it won't count those gallons while you're in backwash. Just an FYI. Display in US gallons. So this is the unit capacity is programmed in grains, so it's set for 400,000 grains, and that's based on your city water coming in. So you would ask your water treatment vendor, say, hey, how many grains of hardness is my water coming in, or how many grains of hardness can this particular vessel remove? It also has a safety factor set to 10%. That's just, hey,
So
you know,
you'd only run to 90 basically.
yeah, you're gonna run 90%. You know, some people set it to 5. These are set to 10. So here's now your feed water hardness. It's set to 15 grains coming in. We should check, make sure this is correct in the other plant too, because it's the same water. So now you get into cycle 1. So when you go into backwash, it's gonna start. Cycle 1 is just gonna backwash fresh water for 10 minutes, and then cycle 2 is for an hour. A brine slow rinse. It's gonna pull brine from the tank or salt water, mixed with some city or with makeup water, and clean those beads for an hour. And then for 20 minutes, it's going to do a rapid rinse. So what that is pretty much, hey, you want to get all that salt water out of there because you don't want that going to your chillers, right? So, hey, we're going to rapid rinse for 20 minutes. And then we're going to brine tank refill for 21 minutes is what this one is programmed for. Now, if it's overfilling your brine tank for some reason, you can go in here and make that adjustment. Freaking fiberglass. All right. This is also cycle 5, pause and delay. If for some reason you were running off a well pump and the well pump wasn't based off of pressure change in the system, and it only came on like a variable frequency drive or something like that, then you would program this and have a 4 to 20 dry contact to say, hey, pause, you know, to do your background, to do your backwash cycle, to turn the pump on. And you would enable this auxiliary relay would be enabled for that. So this auxiliary output for the pump is 1 hour and 21 minutes because that's how long the backwash cycle is. It automatically adds all of those times up from all the other cycles we just did.
So that right there, from the time it goes into regen, this whole system should be ready to go back online in 1 hour and 21 minutes.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. If you had to have a chemical pump for some reason, you could tie it into that setting. Your flow meter type is a 2-inch paddle, and now you're back into programming at that point. So
where was the set point to set it for the volume? Like how much you wanted to actually, how much you thought the GPMs were that you could run through this and still continue to put out soft water, where you make that actual adjustment?
Let's go back in here. So English, demand recall, decimal 2, intermediate, valve type, downflow, US gallons. So in this unit capacity in grains, this is what you're telling it how many grains of hardness this vessel's designed for. So if you change this up or down, it's going to change how many gallons when it's going to click over.